The Marsh House, the 21st of December, 1962. It came from nowhere. Malorie turned a corner, and the road must have been icy because it felt like the car was skating. The low winter sun was in her eyes, and she was squinting, holding tight to the steering wheel, leaning forward to try and see below the glaring light. As the road bent to the left, a black shape flashed in her vision, springing in front of the car. She swerved to avoid it, or it might have been that she was skidding already, but it was too late. The hedge smashed into the front of the car. She screamed. Franny shouted something from the back. An almighty crash juddered through her body. When she opened her eyes, frozen brambles were crushed against the windscreen, icicles of light piercing them. The dog was whimpering. Her gloved hands were still gripping the steering wheel, and her cheeks were pressed into the wool. There was a sharp pain in her neck. "God!" she thought. "Oh, God!" Outside, a robin fluttered down to the hedge, so close she could see its black beady eye and the feathers on its red breast. "Franny!" She turned, a vision of blood rising before her eyes, and she wasn't there. But the sound of Larry whining rose from below, and then she heard, "Mummy!" Hoisting herself out of her seat, she twisted around and leaned over, and there they were, her daughter and the dog, squashed into the footwell. "Are you all right? Can you get up?" From the gloom behind the front seats, the whites of Franny's eyes stared up at her. She would tell Tony about this, and Malorie wanted to scream again. She breathed very slowly through her nose and reached down with an arm to touch Franny, who shrunk deeper into the footwell. Larry began to bark. "All right. It's all right. Lift him up, Franny." "He's heavy," she said, but she did it, and Malorie nearly wept in sheer relief. Franny's eyes were red-rimmed, and a tiny trail of snot dripped down from her nose. She was 8 years old and had a permanent cold. Malorie gave her daughter a smile, but Franny stared back, her small face hard to read. Malorie tried to reverse. The front wheels spun and the car didn't move. Clambering across the gear stick, she opened the passenger door and almost fell out onto the ground. It was quiet on the road, no one in sight, just the violent sun blaring out from above the hedge and the huge pale blue sky pressing down on her. The front of the bonnet was badly dented, as if a heavy animal had smashed into it, but there was no sign of anything. Pulling a fly-away wisp of hair out of her face, she inspected the front wheel and under the car. She must have injured, killed something, but whatever it was had gone. What on earth could it have been? Searching her memory, she thought she'd seen a black animal. Not a bird, too large to be a cat, too dark to be a hare. "What was that?" Franny had somehow managed to get out of the car. Malorie had slid down the side of the car and was slumped against it, the ground already hard with the coming night frost through her skirt. "I don't know," she said. Perhaps if she just pretended all this wasn't happening, it would go away. It was unfair, all of it. The argument with Tony, his affair, the hideous car he'd bought her, the bloody dog he'd given Franny instead of a sibling or friends. Franny's silence all the way from London. The cold, the emptiness in her head. Worst of all, that she'd brought them here, of all places in the world, here, near where she'd grown up and where both her parents were buried. But the flat was full of Tony's things. It was his flat, and she could no longer bear to be there. And the house, this house, had been somewhere to go. At the hospice it had smelt of mildew. She'd wanted to open the windows to let in the fresh air, but it was October.